Everyone thinks being home alone is scary because someone might break in. That's not the real fear. The real fear is realizing someone already knows you're alone and always has. My parents left for a 2-day trip. Nothing unusual. They hugged me goodbye, locked the door behind them. I watched their car disappear from the window. I checked the house. Doors locked, windows shut, curtains drawn. I was alone. I remember saying it out loud, half joking. Finally, the house didn't respond, but something listened. Around 10:40 p.m., I noticed something strange. The TV volume felt lower, not muted, not silent, just slightly reduced. I hadn't touched the remote. I brushed it off. Then my phone vibrated, a notification from my home Wi-Fi app. A new device has connected. That was impossible. I refreshed the app. The device name was blank. No brand, no model, just a dot. I turned the Wi-Fi off. The notification disappeared. Relief came quickly. Too quickly, because then the house clicked. Not a sound, a feeling, like something had acknowledged my decision. I went to my room and locked the door. That's when I noticed something worse. My bedroom light was already on. I always turn it off before leaving. Always. I stood in front of the mirror, trying to calm myself. I looked tired, paler than usual. I raised my hand. My reflection raised it too, a fraction of a second late. I told myself it was stress. Then my phone buzzed again. No Wi-Fi, no mobile data, still a message. You don't look good when you panic. I dropped the phone. I ran through the house, turning on every light. Kitchen, hallway, living room. Everything looked normal. Too normal. That's when I noticed the family photos. They had changed. In every picture, I was closer to the camera than I remembered. In the most recent photo, taken months ago, I was the only one in focus. Behind me, slightly blurred, something stood in the doorway. I locked myself in my room again. My breathing was loud, too loud. Then I heard my own voice from the hallway, soft, calm. You always do this part wrong. I covered my mouth. The voice continued. You lock doors. You check windows. You convince yourself you're safe. A pause. You never ask why you're allowed to be alone. The lights turned off. All at once. Darkness. Then my phone screen turned on by itself. Camera app. Front camera. I saw my face. Behind me, someone was sitting on my bed. But here's the part that broke me. It wasn't watching me. It was watching the camera. Like it knew someone else would see this. Text appeared on my screen. You don't live here alone. You never did. You just get the house when we're not using you. My parents came back the next day. Nothing was missing, nothing broken. They laughed when I told them, said stress can do strange things. But that night, when I tried to sleep, I felt something familiar. That quiet click, like a device reconnecting. And I understood the worst part. I wasn't afraid of being home alone anymore. I was afraid of being noticed again. It was just me and my brother that morning. My parents had left early, out of town for an important family event. They wouldn't be back until late night. They reminded us at least 3 times before leaving. Lock the doors, don't open for anyone. I remember standing at the door, watching their car disappear down the street, thinking how quiet the house suddenly felt. My brother went back to his room. I stayed in the kitchen, making tea, scrolling through my phone, enjoying the rare silence. Nothing felt wrong. That's the part that scares me now. Around 10 a.m., my brother came out, rubbing his eyes. "Did you go into my room?" he asked casually. "No," I said. "I've been here the whole time." He shrugged. "Weird. I thought someone opened my cupboard." We laughed it off. Old houses make noises. Floors creak. Wood shifts. I wish it had ended there. Around noon, I noticed the bathroom light was on. I clearly remembered switching it off. I called out to my brother. "Did you use the bathroom?" He yelled back from his room, annoyed. "No, stop blaming me for everything." I turned the light off. The switch was warm. By afternoon, the house felt crowded. Not loud, not chaotic, just busy, like someone had been moving around quietly while we weren't looking. Cupboards slightly open, a chair pulled back a little more than usual. The TV volume changed by 1 level. Small things, too small to accuse. At 4 p.m., I heard my brother calling my name. I followed his voice to his room. He was sitting on his bed, pale. "I swear I heard you whispering outside my door," he said, "like right outside." My mouth went dry. "I was downstairs," I said slowly. "I didn't come up." He stared at me, searching my face for a joke. I wasn't smiling. That's when we decided to stay together in the living room, just in case. We sat there, scrolling on our phones, not talking much. Every sound made us look up. Then the front door lock clicked. Once, twice, as if someone was testing it. We froze. My brother whispered, "Did you lock it?" "Yes," I said. "I locked it after Mom left." The handle didn't move again. No knock, no footsteps leaving, just silence. At 7 p.m., my brother went to the kitchen to get water. I stayed on the couch. That's when I heard him say, "Who are you talking to?" I rushed in. He was standing near the fridge, staring at the hallway. "I thought you were standing there," he said. "You were facing away from me." My skin prickled. I never left the couch. We didn't move after that. When night fell, the house felt tighter, smaller. Every shadow looked occupied. At 10:12 p.m., my phone rang. Mom. I answered instantly. Her voice came through the speaker. "Why are you still awake?" she asked. "We're scared," I said. "Something's wrong in the house." There was a pause. Then my mother said something that made my heart stop. "Scared of what? You told me you were alone today." I grabbed the phone. "What do you mean alone?" I asked. She hesitated. "Your brother left with us this morning," she said quietly. "He said he didn't feel well." I looked at my brother. He was looking at me, confused, breathing fast. My mother continued, unaware. "You've been home alone all day." The line went dead. Slowly, my brother's expression changed. Not fear, understanding. He smiled at me, and in that moment I realized I had no memory of my brother arriving home that day. I knew I was going to be home alone that day.
My parents had left the night before. My phone still had my mother's last message: "Lock everything properly. We'll be back tomorrow." I remember checking the house that morning, every door, every window. I even checked the spare room. No reason, just habit. The house was empty. That certainty stayed with me for hours. I cooked, studied, watched random videos, the kind of normal day you forget the moment it's over. Around evening, I heard the first sound: a chair scraping lightly across the floor upstairs. I froze. Then I laughed at myself. Old house, wooden floors. Still, I went upstairs. Every room was exactly the same. Chairs pushed in, curtains unmoved, no open windows. I went back down, annoyed at my own fear. At 7:40 p.m., I heard it again. This time, it was footsteps, slow, careful, like someone trying not to be heard. I stood in the middle of the living room, listening. The footsteps stopped. I waited. Nothing.
I told myself something important then, something that felt comforting at the time. If someone was here, I would have seen them by now. That thought followed me into the kitchen. I noticed the sink was wet. I hadn't used it since afternoon. The tap was off, but the steel basin still had fresh water droplets. I stared at it longer than I should have. Then I dried it and moved on. By night, the house felt different, not scary, occupied, like I wasn't the only one waiting for something to happen. I locked my bedroom door before sleeping. I don't usually do that. At 1:13 a.m., I woke up. Not suddenly, not from a dream, just awake. The house was silent, too silent. Then I heard it, breathing, not loud, not panicked, right outside my door. I held my breath. The breathing continued, slow, patient. I grabbed my phone and checked the time again, 1:13 a.m. I texted my mom, "Are you awake?" No reply. The breathing stopped. After a few seconds, I heard soft footsteps walking away. I didn't open the door. I didn't sleep. Morning came without warning. Sunlight filled my room like nothing had happened. I unlocked the door slowly. The hallway was empty. Everything looked normal, except the chair outside my room. It was placed directly in front of my door, facing it, like someone had been sitting there all night, watching. I felt cold. I checked the house again. Doors locked, windows closed, no signs of entry. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The guest room bed was messed up, blanket folded back, pillow indented. Someone had slept there. I called my parents immediately. My mother answered, half asleep. "I think someone was here last night," I said. "The guest room bed is messed up." She went quiet. Then she said, very calmly, "That room was locked." I frowned. "What?" "We locked it before leaving," she said. "The key's in our room. We didn't want dust getting in." I walked back to the guest room slowly, tried the handle again. Locked. I stood there, staring at the door, my heart beating in my ears. Then something clicked. I hadn't checked the guest room that morning. I had checked everything else, but not that room. I opened my phone and scrolled through the messages. My mother's last text from the night before read, "Don't use the guest room. Keep it closed." I don't remember reading that. I don't remember ignoring it either. I stepped back from the door, and that's when the thought hit me, sharp and cold. I didn't know when I had stopped being alone in the house.
That's the end of tonight's stories. If any of them stayed with you, you know which one. Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. I'll see you soon.